When I look back at my proudest moments as a teacher, it wasn't a test score. It was the time my students planned a protest. We were studying civil disobedience. People like Queen Esther, Mordecai, Rosa Parks. And I thought, let's not just read about it, let's do it. I wanted them to understand their power, their civic responsibility, and how they can self-advocate. I hoped they would organize a fun protest driven by their own values and voices. Two students took it more seriously than I ever could have dreamed. They said, "We're tired of being tired." They wanted to self-advocate for a proper night's sleep so they would be able to stay awake in class and retain some of the things that they learned. They wanted to go home early so they can get a full 9 hours of sleep. I was thrilled. They chose a good goal that focused on helping them learn better. The way they respected the lesson I was teaching was beautiful. As it turned out, the administration did not see it my way. This wasn't just a disagreement. It was a moment where our unspoken assumptions about power, order, and respect collided. It was culture speaking, not race or ethnicity, but values, roles, and expectations clashing in the open. Pamela Hayes' addressing fame framework teaches us that identity is layered. There was a generational and institutional cultural clash. To my students, protesting was respectful. It meant taking their learning seriously and advocating for their health. To the other teacher, it was disrespect, a breakdown of the proper order and of trust. And to me, it was everything education is supposed to be. Thoughtful rebellion with a purpose, genuine self-determination. And the truth is, we were all right from our own cultural lens. Hayes reminds us that what feels respectful in one context can feel threatening in another. And when we don't stop to explore those differences, we can miss the bigger picture. In the end, okay, well, that's a story for another time. Anyway, but it will always be my proudest moment as a teacher. And that's the lesson that I plan to carry into therapy. Never assume disrespect. Ask what respect looks like to them, because sometimes what looks like resistance is really a client reclaiming their voice. Sometimes silence is a protest, and sometimes protesting is healing. Whether in a classroom or in a counseling room, our job isn't to quiet the rebellion. It's to understand it, to create space for it, and to honor the courage it takes to speak up in a world that often teaches people to stay quiet. Respect is not a one-size-fits-all, but when we listen, really listen, we find the power to build bridges across those differences. And sometimes, just sometimes, we get to witness transformation. That day, my students learned to speak truth to power. And I learned to hear the protest behind the question, can I go home and get some sleep?